Yeah? You may only need it to come from an outside source for it to be entertained. The mind's ability to entertain is pregnant, it's already so, but it hasn't had this information to entertain yet. Yeah? Once it's given the information, that's it. It's like a spiritual subpoena. It's been served. Yes? It's a done deal. There's no turning back. When the mind comes out of that yogic posture, it very, very rarely returns to that yogic posture. It just expands, extends, expands, extends, expands, 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 expands. And there's no point where it stops expanding. That's called being. Yeah? It's being. Its beingness is expanding. It's space. Yeah? So there's a point of either self-centeredness or centeredness. The centered is the same. It's what the mind is centered on. If it's centered on self, it'll produce a whole world, a whole experience here, a whole way of life. If it's centered on centeredness, yes? If it's centered on nothingness, another expression of life will appear. Yeah? Another seed assignment will occur. It's all the same, centered. It's either self or centered. Yeah? Centered in centeredness is we are always right in the center wherever you are. Self-centeredness, there's only one place, this. The whole universe is meant to fit around this one little place called Paul. You don't know how small the world has to be to fit around this. It's a very small world. Very small when it's all about you. Very, very small. It's claustrophobic. You can't wait to get out. But you want to get out as self, and you never escape. But this way, you fit around the size of life, yeah? Your mind expands and keeps expanding. And you can't believe what it can entertain. Peace of mind. Yes. Brilliant clarity. A seeing that would burn you up if you were looking. Yeah? If it was being received by self-centeredness, it would blow up the whole system. But it can easily be received when it is centered. Yes? Yeah. And whatever is received is usually given back. It's so beautiful. You have it by giving it away. That's the glory of it. Yeah? You can't privatize it. You can't own it. You can't claim it. You can't package it. You can't subtract it from some people and add it to others. You can't sell it. Yeah? You have it by giving it away. It's a constant having, giving, having, giving, having, giving. They're actually the same. The giving is the having. The giving is the having. The giving is the having. Yeah? It's constantly cleaning itself in a way. It's like water that never gets stagnant because it's constantly moving. Yeah? Constantly moving. As soon as it's diverted, yeah, by self-centeredness, as soon as life is not seen as happening but happening to you, then it becomes a pond. Yeah? And if you ever seen a pond that's not moving, things land on it and they don't move away, do they? So now it gets covered with leaves. Yes? And after a while, you can't even see a reflection of the water. All you see is leaves. And they're not moving anymore. They're just dead. So there's a coating. And then other things land on that coating. Yes? And more, and it gets darker and darker and more stagnant. Yes? It's water. It's still water. But look at what happens. Yes? It's like what causes that stagnation occur is all you need to do is put a rock in water. Yeah? You put a big rock in water, it changes the flow of water. Yeah? Let's say I put a big rock in water, and now the water starts going around the rock, and it gets stuck somewhere where there's no flow anymore. And so what goes around the rock gets stuck, like a leaf and then a branch and this and that. And then from the rock's point of view, you think it's a real freaking drag. Why are these branches coming at me? Why is this leaf trying to get to me? But it's the rock that's causing it to go that way, yeah? It's sort of like a rock with barnacle. You want to get the barnacles off. It's very difficult because the rock's the perfect anchor for the barnacle. Yeah? You'd have to get a big plier and try to rip that freaking barnacle off. But what would happen if there was no rock? There would be no place for the barnacles to anchor. If you took the rock out of that water, the water would rearrange immediately. It wouldn't stay in that stagnant condition, not for 1 second. It would immediately take its natural form. It would be moving, yes? It's not the water. It's not life. It's the rock. It's that fixed object called a self that causes all these currents of mind to coagulate around, all these winds of mind to coagulate around this one rock. And yet the rock feels like it's being buttressed and attacked and stormed by these currents, but it's its own gravitational pull that's holding them in place. It's called self-centeredness. I'm telling you, if this mind takes itself to be a self, then its interest and attention is going to be wedded to that. It's going to be very difficult to have freedom from thoughts when they're held as yours. It's going to be very freaking difficult because the yours of it is like a bonding agent, yeah? It's like injecting tons of meaning to those thoughts. You don't have any immunity. Just if you sat next to someone else and you could see what was driving them crazy was their thoughts, no matter how close you were sitting next to them, you would not pick up the insanity. It wouldn't be a contagion. You would have total immunity to them. But the same thoughts, if they were happening in this head and they were held as yours, they would have an effect like they're having on her, on this, yeah?